Friday. This is Overpass Live. My name is Eric and I make apps. So this is our weekly live stream, which we do every Friday night. Well, most Friday nights at around 5 o'clock UK time, just so we can chat about, whatever. We'll talk about, it's completely unprepared. I have done no preparation, which I should really be embarrassed about, and I kind of am. I have no idea what we're going to talk about. We'll talk about whatever we did during the week. So this week I did 3 videos, and I missed the last 2 days. The last video I did on Wednesday, I said how I hadn't missed a day yet this year, a weekday yet this year. And then I didn't do one yesterday, and I didn't do one today. So it's been really bad. And I think the reason is because normally I'll try to record them at least a day in advance. And this week I've been doing them on the day. So like I got all these other things going on. I'm thinking, can I squeeze a video in here real quick? And it's not that I'm lacking things to talk about. It's just that I'm like finding, like I want to go outside and film it, or switch the camera on and everything. I'm thinking, it's that feeling of guilt, like I should be working on this other thing. And but so anyway, apologies for that. But other than that, it's been a good week. In terms of apps, I got an email from Apple today saying one of my apps has been removed. They'll do that if you don't update them for a few years. And since GDPR, I haven't updated any of my apps on Apple because I kept rejecting everything. So I thought, that's it. I'm never changing them. But they get you eventually because they'll just say, oh, because it hasn't been updated in 2 years, they're going to remove it, which is one of those things. It's happening to my clients too. Like they're saying their app's getting removed. They ask me what they should do about it. And I'm saying, well, we could release a new version, which is probably the only thing to do, even though there haven't been any changes. So anyway, everybody, Bart Rocca's here. Happy Friday. Rifat's here. Hey, Rifat. I've been seeing your last Slack messages, and we should have a chat. I'm sorry about it because I don't get all the notifications on Slack on other networks. I only see the Overpass ones. Simple Galaxy. I forgot the name. I forgot your name. Hey Eric, how'd your week go? The week has been okay. It was better than last week. In fact, there was the things with the apps this week. A few prospect meetings going through. Mainly what it was I was looking at apartments. So there's something the last month or so I've been looking for an apartment to move into, and I had one selected last month, and everything fell through because I have a limited company, and I think they were confused about the fact that I paid myself minimum wage, and I paid myself the rest with dividends. So they're like thinking, there's no way you could afford this apartment. I was like, dude, I can afford it, but I didn't get it. So for some reason, I'm waiting to hear back on whether or not I get this other one, but it's going to be perfect because it's right next to my son's school. It's like total bachelor pad, top floor of an apartment building. I mean, top floor, like the third floor or the second floor if you're in the UK. So that was a big thing, and I've been kind of doing that. But then also, I had a few days which I blocked out for just writing specifications, and then I had a few other bits of work to do. And it seems like I'm getting to the point now where it's starting to get busy again, which is fantastic, really. Let's see. Rifat said got the first comment in. Fist007 says, hey Eric, hey Fist007, how's it going? Skip 2 days, huh? Yeah, I skipped 2 days. Like I didn't just skip one day. I think it's hard. Like when you miss one day, then the second day you're like, okay, I definitely need to do it today, and then you miss it and think, well, I'll just wait till Monday. But I need to get back ahead. Yeah, it was bad, especially, it's been a rough week because Rowena on my team, so it's like me and Rowena at the moment, and her mother's been ill, and it was her birthday this week too. So she hasn't been able to do a whole lot, but she's been trying to do some, and it feels kind of weird when there's all this, like to do like after the last video I did, I said, oh yeah, I didn't want to miss a day, and I did it, and then I missed 2 days. Eric, please motivate me to create apps again and earn good revenue and have a good life. It says Simple Galaxy 79 ABCD. Is it? I can't. It starts with SH, right? So Simple Galaxy. If there's one thing that motivated me this week was looking at the App Annie State of Mobile report. If you haven't had a chance to look at it, it's what I talked about on. I believe I talked about on Tuesdays or Wednesdays video where I talked about subscriptions. And the thing that fascinated me about that report is it's just so optimistic. Now, every time I read a report like that, it goes contrary to everything we're reading about People are downloading less applications. The apps are kind of like dying off. And then you read something from App Annie and think, well, actually, they are picking up. And I might open that up. That might be a good thing to look at in this live stream. And a lot of it's emerging markets. It's China, it's India. But you're seeing a lot more stuff coming through. Let's see. Riffat says, what do you think for a contractor marketing with IR35? I think, so it's been a while. So it's been a while since I've had to deal with IR35. But for me, it was like trying to find ways that it was like not relevant. So if you could work remotely or using your own equipment, all that kind of stuff. It's because I don't know if they made it stricter in most recent. So IR35, for those of you guys who don't know, at a certain time you have to go in, all that stuff. They could tax you as an employee. So a lot of the benefits you have is of being a contractor, being your own, having your own limited company, all that kind of stuff. It's sort of like they're making that determination that, well, yeah, you are running your own company, but you're basically an employee. So they'll start taxing you differently. And they started that, God, was it 10, 15 years ago? I mean, it's been a long time. And it used to be so vague that if anybody ever asked you if you're under IR35, you just say no, right? But now I think they're getting more and more strict. Where I'm starting to see job ads that are putting that on there, like, this is IR5, this is within IR35, this is outside of IR35. It's something to think about, just for the tax reasons. If you're within IR35, I don't think it's as beneficial to you because you want to do stuff like be able to claim your own equipment, your travel, all that kind of stuff. So ranking videos, good title says, where is it? What is the season why you recommend App Lovin? What is the season why you recommend App Lovin? I don't recommend App Lovin. I've never. I have no. Sorry, I always get it confused with what's the one that the one that bought Corona. There's the other one. So App Lovin, I like the way their SDK work. They seem to work pretty well for me. I've tried at the time. I was trying Chart Boost, App Lovin, Facebook Audience Network. I haven't tried Amazon because every time I would ask questions about Amazon being like, what regions does it support? It seemed to be like it doesn't support any regions where Amazon isn't, which is one of the reasons why I've never used Amazon. But I've always thought I should try to use that again. I've used MobFox and Tapjoy. I think have I used Tapjoy? I may have done, but so App Lovin was just one that. Like I would not see a lot come through App Lovin. It was almost like I started to just turn it off because more would come through. I used it through mediation, so more would come through AdMob than would go to App Lovin. However, and this goes the same with was it when you? Well, I just said the word. I'm blanking. When you have the two different networks competing with each other. I just said it. Not mediation. So anyway, so that was it. So when AdMob was temporarily suspended, although I didn't know it was gonna be temporarily, then that's when you saw App Lovin just shoot up because 100% of traffic was going through to App Lovin. So if you are going to use one of those networks, then you should like the mediation networks, you should definitely use you should have one thing on there, so that way if you ever do get that dreaded email from AdMob saying you've been suspended for whatever reason, placements or whatever, not suspended but stopped serving, then at least you'll see the other networks start to take over some of the slack. Like they don't stop all ads going through. Gregor says hello, hey, how's it going? Fizz007 says, if everything goes according to plan, I'll have my first app on Google Play by next Friday. Cool. We should share it here on the live stream. Again, hopefully next Friday I'll be moving into my new flat, and I think what I'm gonna do is just work from home, and it's gonna be like I'm gonna have like a special room where I can set up all this stuff rather than use the office. But yeah, no, if we're doing the live, I'm not sure we're going to be doing the live stream next week. So, but if we are, go ahead and share it with us. That would be great to see it. Fizz007. Shailendra is okay. Shailendra, got it. Apavelli says, happy coding, happy Friday. I am trying Mac and Cloud to start iOS development. Awesome, Apavelli. Let me know how it goes. I have a Mac here, and I'm like, whenever I use a Mac, I remember I was working a contract because I had to get the Mac to do some iPhone, just to compile some like Corona stuff, and everybody started thinking I was a Mac fanboy. Like the people I worked with, they were saying, "I thought you were a Mac guy." I was like, "No, I hate this thing." Now since then, I started to like a lot about the Mac. I like the way the terminal works. I like, there's some things I really do like about the Mac, but not like other like the thing I didn't like about Mac users and iPhone users when I was an Android user and Windows user. I'm still kind of an Android user. The thing I didn't like about it was the smugness. Oh, well, this is obviously the best. Oh, look at the sleek design. It's metal. I got all this stuff. Like, it's aluminum frame, right? And I wasn't worried about that. And then I got the Mac, and it threw me the whole command and control shift, like the having to use the command key instead of the control key. That messed up my game so much for like the first month that I nearly just sent this thing back. But now I've gotten used to it. However, I think I could be a good Linux user because Linux has similar terminal commands and all that kind of stuff, where you don't have to use the command window on Windows, and I know there's substitutes you can use. Mohammed, I apologize on the live stream every single week. I'm just la 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 off on any tangent that comes up. It's because I missed you guys. I haven't seen you in 2 days. I haven't done a daily video the last 2 days. Mohammed Iwez, hey, how's it going? Shalendra says, Eric, how many employees work under you and how are they? So I have had employees. I don't have any employees at the moment. I have basically they're freelancers. So I have freelancers in the Philippines that I work with, and they're kind of like a full-time thing. So Rowena and Sandy's usually with me, but she's on kind of maternity leave. So she's been doing kind of part-time project-based work. But I try not to bother her so much, although when we have design work, we need, kind of need her. And I've had other people, like I've had an SEO guy in the Philippines and other people. And one of the nice things about that, one of the downsides as opposed to going to Upwork or done based on project, is if you need something, you just get it right away. It's like, I need this right away. I don't need to think how much this is going to cost, and try to bargain, the timing. It's just like, can you get started on this today? That it's easier to do that when you have full-time people, but doing it as a freelance basis, it's less stressful than having somebody in the office. I've had I think the most I've had was 2 people in the office, and I'm at that weird position where I know I need to grow, but when I start to grow, I realize I become less productive because the processes aren't working. It's almost like when you set up your processes, it should be like you're setting up a pipeline, and then you turn the water on and you find out it just water sprays everywhere and it's a leaky, so you like turn it off real quick, which is tough when that process involves people's lives. So you have to like think, okay, this isn't working because as I hired more people, it just meant I had more work to do. It meant like where everything should work like a well-oiled machine, and I'm just kind of overseeing it or helping setting things up, or if you need me, I'm there. But it seemed like for a while it was like it's a hub and spoke system, and everything comes through me, and it still does to some extent. Like you'll see, I'll be watching Skype conversations, like, and it'll be like, it'll be a question comes up, and nobody wants to answer it, and it comes back to me anyway, and it could be something that's not technical. Even if it's not even if it is technical, it shouldn't come back to me, but it does, which is exhausting, and that's where that's where like so I'm learning. I'm getting better. I'm getting better at it as we go, but it is not. So the downside of cutting the team down back to just me here in the UK, and then so I have development teams in India. 2 development companies I'm working with in India, and 1 that I'm working with in Vietnam on a regular basis. And there's other companies where I have the relationship, but I haven't funneled any projects to them. So there's different ones that I'm working with, and there's always different developers, and a lot of times you're it can be very stressful at times. So Let's see. Muhammad Awai says, I completed an app today. Would you review it? I'm not good at SEO/keywords. Yeah, sure. What is the name of it? We can have a look for it. Unless we can't search on the name, let us know the package ID if you can, if it doesn't get blocked. Billy, hey, what's up? What's up, Billy? Let's see. Yeah. Fist7 says, feel better, Rowena's mother. Yeah, I hope she does. Akil LV says, any suggestions about releasing apps/games to multiple app stores? Nothing other than just release it to the multiple app stores. Like, I don't think you need to change the keywords to the different ones. Actually, no, if you were doing proper keyword research, if you found that, so here's an example of one. I release an app to Google Play. It hasn't, and I checked a search for the name. It doesn't exist. I mean, it's not important. You could have one that has the same name. So you release it. You can't do the same name on iOS, but you could always tweak it a little bit, so it's not an exact match. So I'll release an app on Google Play, and then I'll release it to the App Store, and I realize that app name's already taken, and then I have that decision about whether or not I want to change the name for the. Okay, are we back? Are we back now? Okay. All right. I'm watching the questions, and then all of a sudden the screen went blank. Although it says I still have internet. Okay. Here's another problem with the Mac, which is relevant to what just happened. Normally, I will plug in. I'll use an adapter to plug into the network cable, so I can use Ethernet as opposed to Wi-Fi, because Wi-Fi doesn't work as well as Ethernet does. However, and then I have this. I have a USB hub which I could use. However, that was causing trouble with the microphone. So I have to plug the microphone and the camera directly into the MacBook, which has 2 USB ports. And that's only because it's an older one and I don't need the adapter. So that's another problem with the Mac. It's like, because why would anybody need more than 2 USB ports, really? And that's what I think it's that kind of stuff. So let's see. Where was I? I don't remember what I was talking about. I think I was talking about releasing. Seriously? What's going on? All right. Sorry, guys. Let's see. Man. I wonder if we're having Wi-Fi trouble. All right. We might have to. Oh, man. Okay. This is it. This is using the Mac. Using the Mac because I don't have enough USB ports different. All right, let's switch microphones and go to USB. Oh, we'll leave as is. We'll leave as is, and hopefully it doesn't happen again. See, live stream. This is what happens. What happens when you go live? Let's see. James says, Happy Friday. Happy Friday, James. Aweli Studio says, Sir, I wanted to start an app for PUBG game guide. Do I face any copyright issues because I might use some assets inside the app? Can I avoid copyright by limiting assets on listing? Does that work? I think if you could get away with not using copyright images, then definitely do that. If it's within the application, it's possible that they won't know it, but then you're assuming that nobody's ever going to download your app to find out. So if somebody reported it, if somebody was to download your app and see it and report it, like if it ever took off, then you would have a problem with that anyway. I don't know very much what PUBG is. And sounds like I should know what that is, but Mega Man 2016, hey, how's it going? Says, hey Eric, how do you keep all your language games in one code base? How did you manage changes to the core engine? So basically what I did was I have a Node.js script. So I have all the files that are different for each one in different folders, as they're featured. And I wrote a Node.js script which will loop through, which will go and clear down from the core. So I'll have like a library. I have a library called core, or no, the library is called code. code, languages, scripts. So scripts has a Node.js script which will just loop through and replace it. Where I used to do it manually copying it, and I'd end up every single time, because it's a manual function, I would end up messing something up. So in the end, it was just wrote a Node.js script, and it saved a lot of time. I mean, it took me like a few hours to get it right to begin with, but it was kind of fun to do it. So you're like constantly moving all that stuff. Bart Rocket says, App Annie's report was brilliant. Thanks for sharing. It was really good, wasn't it? So it makes you think a lot more about apps in the future and what it could do. And there's a lot of really good stats there. So if you haven't seen it, let's share the screen. If we could do it without the stupid internet cutting out again. Sorry. Being very negative. The internet cutting out. Let's see. So I'm going to share my screen here in a second. So we'll just have a quick look at this. And I know I'll get to all the questions here in a second. Oh, another thing is, once again, I have to drive to Portsmouth. So I have to leave before too long. I want to leave at 6 again, which is, yeah. But we'll have a quick look at this report. So it's, again, I included a link to it in the, I mean, it's App Annie. They have all this stats and everything. They have stats, I believe, because we all give them our stats for free. But you can see the consumers downloaded a record of 204 billion apps, and it's been really buoyed by emerging markets. So downloads are largely fueled by emerging markets, including India, Brazil, and Indonesia. So you can see 80% from China, up 80% in China, up 180. I mean, this is the last 3 years. Up 190% in India, up 5%, only 5% in the USA. So Brazil 40%. So even though we're talking about people are downloading less apps or apps downloads are slowing, we're still looking at, the emerging markets, because they're starting to go mobile more often. And there's so many good things on here. Consumer spend up 120 billion. Again, it was broken down by countries, so you can see it's up 105% on USA. And then so it's a really good report. It's like how many pages is it? It's like 40 pages or something. And you can find a lot of really good stats in here. And all you have to do is share your email address and all that kind of stuff and go on their spam list. So if you haven't had a chance to look at it, it's really worth taking a look at. Making English Fun retracted his message. Sachi Pandi says, I want to start Android development. Please suggest the steps and guide me from starting, about which language I should start. Satyam, the language you start with, if you're going to make it for yourself, so there's two different things, and I talk about it all the time. If you want to get a job as an Android developer, then I would look at but Flutter is something that I'm really interested in. So if you're going to do games, you might want to look into Unity or Coco 2DX or I would say Corona, but I'm afraid that Corona might be on its way out. Their blog hasn't. I mean, they had their first blog post yesterday, for the first time since October, and it was to say our servers were down. We're trying to find out why, which is scary, because I was going to use it for a new thing. So for a new project, and but it's like Flutter is the one where I like the fluidness of it. I mean, even I was talking to a client yesterday, and we're talking about doing a project in Xamarin. I'm thinking about doing that with myself, almost like as a, just, me working on myself. Sometimes it's just, like, it gets so, when you're working with other developers and the requirements change so quickly and you have to be flexible, it's sometimes easier just to do it yourself. But they want to do it in Xamarin. And one of the things about Xamarin, the same as with native, is it's a lot more, it's a lot less flexible, I find. Like Flutter is nice because it's a nice fluid, you change something and you got the hot reload, you got the nice little hero animations, it's easier to animate, you got those high frames per second, which you can do in native too, but it's just, a lot of different. So, Satyam, I would say have a look at Flutter, have a look at, if you just want to do Android, go Kotlin, I've never used Kotlin, but I've seen a lot of jobs for Kotlin. lately. Matthew Creaky, it's my says it's his birthday. Happy birthday, Matthew. I would say let's all join in singing happy birthday, except you guys would only hear me doing it. And sometimes I'll go back and I'll watch the replays of the live stream and I'll realize how awful I sound. Because in my mind, we're having this conversation, but when I watch it, it's just me talking. Just me talking. Rambling. Did I say talking? Rambling. Ranking Video says, will my AdMob account get suspended if I delete it and create a new one if I have directive violates? I don't know what you mean. Why would you delete it? Will my AdMob get suspended if I delete it? I don't understand why you would do that. Making English Fun says, hi from Hong Kong. It's mask wearing fun here. Oh, God. Yeah, I'll bet. We'll catch up in the morning because it's late here. Did you get my question about about doing a blog style website? Seems to make money. Seems money to be made with your know-how. Did I? I don't know if I got that. I'll check. I'll check to make sure I haven't missed that. Sorry about that. Making English Fun. Sachin Pandey says, Eric, I'm Sachin from India and I want to start Android development. Please suggest steps. So yeah, we covered that one. Pal Lab Junior, hey, how's it going? Says, I am thinking about buying a laptop and I have two options: 8GB / 120GB MacBook Pro, and 16GB. Oh, so we're talking. Is that the disk size? 16GB / 1TB Windows laptop. Which one should I purchase? Pal Lab Junior, I would say it would depend on whether or not you want to do iOS development. If you want to do iOS development, I would think go with the MacBook Pro. Any other situation, I would say go with the beefy Windows laptop. I mean, it's it'd be nice. Some people have done Hackintoshes in virtual machines, and I don't know how well they work. I don't know if they work temporarily and then you have some issue and you have to sort them out. So if you did have a MacBook, one of the nice things about having a MacBook is when something stops working or the fan starts making noises, I could take it to the Apple Store and take it to the Genius Bar, and they don't say this old decrepit computer. No, they're okay, let's have a look at it, and they're all just really nice about it. And my iPad Pro, which has a smart keyboard, which has stopped working twice, and it's been replaced twice for free through Apple. So the support's really good on the Apple stuff. However, it's still it's expensive. Let's see. NA says, what do you do against people that sideload your app from those bad websites? They get to use my service but without my ads. Yeah, I've had that for a while. For a while, I would see my EarSpy Pro on all these pirate sites, and I even saw a YouTube video, somebody talking about how to crack it. And I know this is one of the things where I know I should be as a proper businessman, I should be they're stealing from me. How dare they? How much revenue am I losing? But it always seems silly to me with virtual products. When movie studios do that, because they'll have some stupid movie that nobody would ever watch, but they'll pirate it. Nobody would ever pay money for it, but they'll pirate it and it becomes popular. And part of me thought it was like a new advertising stream. People will start to learn about it, and then all I have to do is say, it might have a virus. I don't know if it's a virus. You have to download it from Google Play, right? All you have to do is to try to stress that you don't know. You cannot vouch for the safety of that application. If somebody comes to you for anything, and I would put loads of blog posts and stuff on your website, just put stuff out there saying I can't vouch for the security of this application as it is not the genuine article, right? So. But at the same time, people if somebody might find my app through Google Play or the App Store, or they might find it on Pirate Bay or whatever the current thing is, right? And part of me thinks when Napster, I'm old, but when Napster was a big thing, I discovered artists I never. Come on. All right, we back. I was in the early '80s. Was 10, in '82, where everything about computers in the movies was computers would say, "Hello, I am such and such computer," right? So we got this Commodore VIC-20, and I remember just typing "hello" into it when we got it, and it was syntax error. Hello, syntax error. My name's Eric. Syntax error. It was this sucks. This is nothing like TV. And then Weird Science came out where they were able to make a woman out of the computer, which made no sense at all, even then. Even like to some, like, because nobody knew about computers. Now they have to be somewhat realistic. Even in the social network, they use wget and everything like that. I don't know if I have a favorite movie about coding, but I think I did really like what was it? Halt and Catch Fire. I thought that was a really good show about coding and the whole technology. Going from the 70s, going from the 70s until the 2000s. I thought that was a really good series. Silicon Valley is funny. I think when I think about movies about coding, it's either the coders are like really really cool, like hackers or something like that, or they're really really nerdy and they're the people in the back room that could do everything with a computer, or they're like it's like something unrealistic, like the little girl in Jurassic Park. She's a hacker. I'm a hacker. I can hack things. Right? It's like, yeah, right. Like, give me a break. Like those kind of things. It just sort of removes you from the movie. It's like, yeah, fine. Let's see. Mikey Bravo, cool name, says, "Are you doing something else for a living or just app programming? Just app programming." I work at a grocery store. No, I am only doing app development. I do app development for clients, and I'm doing in my own application. So I don't have any other job. And occasionally, especially when the months get slow, I think maybe I could just get a job like at the cinema or something. Like, I've always wanted to work at the cinema. And then I started thinking, like, maybe I'll get a night job. I'll go work a night job. And then I think, actually, I could make more if I just use those night hours to do my own applications, or maybe take on some contract work in those hours. Like, so as a software developer, about £60 an hour. If I worked in a shop, I'd be making $6. Actually, I should probably put my time to better use. But every so often that pops into my head, thinking it'd be nice just to have be like when I was 16 and working at McDonald's, just something where you just, your mind wanders while you just do what you need to do. But no, it's my only job. But even like when sometimes I think about taking on a contract, but it will be coding related if I did. But I haven't had a contract since 2013. Fistable says, "I'm looking into integrating AdMob, and I wonder how much dollars will 1,000 impressions will be given the ads are viewed in USA or Canada. How much dollars will 1,000 impressions? It's really difficult to say because you're pretty much paying, if you're paying for the click. It depends on, like, it's not, if you pay per impression, then you should see what it is. But yeah. And then no, bounce out my keyboard. Yeah. I don't know why the internet keeps going out. I don't know if it's because I'm going off Wi-Fi because I don't have enough USB ports. Satyam Pandi says, "I want to start Android development. Please." Third time he asked that question. Keep asking. Yeah, if I don't get to it the first time. Let's see. I thought it was my internet. Muhammad Awais says, "Flashlight Fast Power Blink is the new name I've set recently." So this is your application. Let's have a look at this. Ooh, my goodness, I shouldn't slouch. You ever sitting in a barber's chair, like you're getting your hair cut, and you start realizing how many chins you have? That's what it's like here. Oh, okay, all right, sorry. Time to stop eating those donuts. Let's see, play.google.com. Let's have a look here. We're looking at Flashlight. Fast Power Blink. Is this it? Yeah, it's supposed to be it. Okay, cool. So we've got realistic design, light on sound. Is this it? Am I looking? So, Muhammad, is this the right one? If you just let me know, so I'm not looking at the wrong one. Flashlight. Realistic design, light on sound, security camera, light. So, and iOS stopped accepting flashlights because it's such a crowded market. Are you using like the screen as a flashlight? Turn on by shaking. Sounds good. I'm not losing. What do the rest of you guys think? I think the icon looks a bit busy to me. Flashlight, but like, let's see how are you ranking for flashlight? And I apologize if the internet keeps going out here. Oh. One day we will look back at this time and we'll look at these internet outages and it'll be like, do you remember back in in 2020 where you'd be watching a movie on Netflix and then it would start buffering and everybody sighs for a few minutes until it comes back? Do you remember what that was like? God, it was like the dark ages. Whereas when I was a kid, we had the TV aerial where you had to keep moving it, and if you moved to one side of the room to another, the picture would go all fuzzy, and then you go to adjust it, and then it's good again, and you walk back and it's fuzzy again. It's just, it's just different times, different times. I'm trying to make, let's see, shake. Oh, you have a different name on App Annie. So did you recently change it? Shake flashlight, open apps blinking. Current release February 1st. App Annie might not be updated so much. Ratings. You have 5 stars. So you got 162 ratings, which is actually not bad. If we look at the ASO keywords, because I would imagine to rank for flashlight must not be really good. So you're ranking number 2 for blinking. Let's find this. Let's look at the United States. Again, for those guys who are new to the live stream, welcome. Remember to subscribe, smash the like button, etc., etc., etc. But one of the tools we use a lot here is the App Annie, the free App Annie tools for the ASO. So you just register with an account, and you can go through and look at that. So flashlight, flashing. Mohammed, is this yours? How did you get so many reviews? Good question. So you're ranking number 11 for flashing light. Fast flashlight, you're ranking number 1. Fastest flashlight. It looks like you're doing something right here. I mean, this looks really good. Blinking flashlight. So how's your downloads doing? You're responding to all reviews, which is great. Your reviews look genuine. Good idea, overly executed. Yeah, so they're not all the same time. So this has come out actually quite a while ago. Did you say you just released it? Let's see. Okay. So yeah, I think that looks I think it looks good. I mean, yeah, I'm kind of like the icon. I think could be changed. However, I think that's something to test because I would hate to say like you're getting sorry, what's the download numbers? I didn't see it. 10,000 plus installs. Last updated February. If we look at if we have a look at the ASO stuff, we can see that you changed the name. Shake flashlight app name changed from light flashlight. So you've been changing the name regularly to test things out, which is good. But it's not updated up past the 5th. What do the rest of you guys think? Let's see. Alessandro Aversa. Hey, man. Hey, Alessandro. How are you? James says, I'm getting 8-bit video feed. Let's see. Alessandro says, how are you? I'm good. I'm doing fine. Doing good. Yeah, can't complain. How are you doing? Let's see. Is it bad with it? Looks like a bandwidth problem. Have you paid the bill? Yeah, I paid the bill. So like I have really fast bandwidth in this building. But normally I'll try to do, yeah, like I said, I try to do Ethernet, and I don't have enough ports on this computer. Let's see. Below bandwidth, pay the internet bill. Yes, I paid the internet bill. Alessandro asks if I'm a freelancer. No, I'm not a freelancer. Video still streaming well. Okay. It's all fine. Sunny Sinha says, is MongoDB a costly database compared to Firebase? Firebase is proprietary, so you have to pay for Firebase. You have to pay for MongoDB too, but you can install that on your own server. So you could reduce the cost by going with MongoDB, and you can run it locally in development mode, whereas Firebase is Firebase. They have a lot of similarities though. FFF. So what was the paper? What was that paper Eric just showed? Did I show paper? Just joined. The paper. That's the state of apps report for by App Annie, and I put a link to that in the video this week. NA says, what do you think about Cortova? Ever use it? I've used it. You have that whole web view dependency. So that's the only thing I've always ever been worried about it. So let's see. Sunny Sinha says, best way to do data monetization. I've never monetized data. And I think it's just a personal choice. For some reason, I don't have a problem putting ads in my application, but selling data to companies and stuff. Well, I don't even have any data. I had a list of from a MailChimp list that I did, but I don't store any data of individuals. I guess I do. Let's see. I do on some apps, I do, but yeah, I wouldn't want to sell that on to other people because it's a violation of the trust. Dwight Schrute says, React Native or Angular or vanilla JavaScript. Oh, if we're talking about web, I still like Angular. I like Angular because it doesn't use, again, the JSX format where you have the JavaScript, the markup, the HTML markup in the JavaScript. I always thought that was weird. But I'm old, old school. Let's see. Leonov says, bye, Eric. Bye. Let's see. Ranking Video says, happy Brexit. Thanks. Luckily, we haven't started to notice it really yet because we have this transition period for the next year. So it's like kicking the can down the road a little bit, but I'll take it. Rahul Singh says, hi, Eric. I was selling insurance. I learned Unity and I made a few games. I got a Unity job in top automobile company. Thanks for motivations you provide. Hey, that's fantastic. Is that, selling insurance? You went from selling insurance to being a Unity developer. It sounds cool. I mean, yeah, it sounds really good, especially if you so going from a salesperson to a developer sounds good because a lot of times I'm trying to go from being a developer to a salesperson and I'm really, really bad at it. All these books I'm reading, I've got, so the one I keep reading is the Jordan Belfort's Way of the Wolf. Keep coming back to that one. I've got a whole bunch of other ones. Grant Cardone, I got all of his books. But a lot of it is just, I get on the phone to do, to cold call somebody. I am the worst. I would prefer to call. I don't even like calling people. I'm still very much introverted when it comes to stuff like that. Leonel Fonseca says, you have a cron tab doing full backup in the cloud. So backup in the cloud. Oh, do I? Something is really going slow. White Hand says, hi, Eric. Hey, White Hands, how are you? Kindly tell us all how many platforms you currently work, like YouTube, mobile applications, YouTube, client projects, etc. Okay, so I have the app stores, which I have my own applications. I've got client work, which could be on, and it depends on the client. So we have some stuff that's on Microsoft Azure, some stuff that on AWS, some stuff on Heroku. I mean, I really should consolidate. I have a few servers on DigitalOcean that we work on, and I do have some stuff on the Amazon App Store, but I haven't updated them in years, seriously. But I still get, occasionally I'll get I get this thing in my finance report says I made 80 cents in last month from Amazon. I'm like, people still buying from there? Because I haven't really done any updates to it. YouTube, I do the YouTube videos, but I don't make any money from YouTube until I start selling you guys my course for $499.95. Now I don't have any courses or anything like that, so YouTube is just something I do for fun. But eventually, I do have a bunch of sponsorship kind of deals that I just haven't done yet. So I think I want to do that. But what I want to do is make sure it's not something where I say this I don't want to endorse anything. I want to just like say it's like it's okay if they sponsor, but I don't want to endorse anything unless I actually use it. And I'm very cynical. Whenever I use a new tool, this is my problem. I think whenever I use a new tool, I'm very cynical. I'm like, does this really help? Is this really like a thing? Is it, because for me, I'm just grateful that you guys even pay any attention to this channel. And last thing I want to do is like, tell you to download something that I would not download or pay for myself. And I do pay for a lot of stuff though. Leonov says that. Oh, what did I miss? Leonov Fonseca says from Office Space, that Milton guy. I could set the building on. Fire. Yeah. Let's see. Bojan Pavlovic says, "What do you think about Dart for e-commerce app?" I think if it works well for you, and if you can make it work on the if you can make it work for you, it's almost like if you're gonna get a job, then the programming language makes a difference. If you're just coding something, then it doesn't matter so much. You have so when you're looking at coding languages, you have the difference between compiled and non-compiled code bases. So JavaScript is not compiled; it's interpreted, which is pluses and minuses. But Dart is compiled. So Dart is so when I remember reading about Dart, and it's like the benefits it has over JavaScript is it's compiled, which is supposedly a little bit faster. But I get the feeling it's one of those things which is not like terribly faster. When Node.js came out, the big thing that was going for it was single threaded, so everything else was like you add more and more threads to or more CPUs to your computer to get it to go faster. Node.js was single threaded, but it was non-blocking. So if you open up a database connection or ran a query, it did not stop the whole server. It would wait till the next tick, and everything was event based and asynchronous. So you can run a lot more through a Node.js server than you could before, and that was like one of the game changers. But a lot of the times when you look at these languages going from one to the next, there's not a whole lot of difference between them, or it's minuscule. But some things are just, some things are slow. Like doing coding in SharePoint, when I did that, it was just dreadfully slow. But mostly, I think you'll be fine with Dart as an e-commerce site. Leno Fonseca says, yes, slouching and shift your seat to the word ass is not hanging off the side of your head. The word ass is hanging off the side of my head? Oh, yes. What does it say? Does he have a Flutter e-commerce app? Are you interested? Cool. Let's see. Bizwajid. Hey, how's it going, Bizwajid? Yeah, so you were asking Mohammed, how did you get so many reviews? My app is going bad. Stonks Pro. Stonks Pro. What does Stonks mean? So let's have a look at Stonks Pro. I'm going to share my screen here in a minute. Stonks Pro. Stonks Pro. Is it this one? What's a stonk? Darkest meme investing stock market. Invest in the best dank memes and funny pics. Invest into all the best dank memes and funny pics. Buy shares of the freshest meme formats to become the best and richest in your market. Oh, I think this one might be just a bit over my head. Browse over the best memes. I think if you just look at the English on this, I think it's just browse the best memes, manage your portfolio, and level up. Choose your best memes. So how are you doing? You got 8 reviews, 100+ installs. Last release date was 6 was yesterday. So version 2. And the reviews. Somebody doesn't like the adverts, but that's like normal. And so, yeah, and again, one of these things, I think the icon, it looks good. Well, I mean, it looks okay here. I mean, but like there's so much going. It's so busy that when you see it on a smaller screen, it might be difficult to see. Again, just my opinion. What do I know? Um, let's see. Lufia. Hey, how's it going, Lufia? Hello, fans. Hello, fans. Um, Leonel says, as an Android user, I wouldn't pay for such an app. Um, I should, Bob Jones, hey Bob, says, if you had an app that fills a need for a small online community, I found that relevant sub subreddits are a great place to market subreddits. Okay, yeah, I've never done my kids are big into subreddit or sorry into Reddits, but I've never done any Reddit stuff. I mean, it's almost like that Reddit's. I think it's because my kids have been involved in it. I haven't really explored it so much. Reddit and Discord. So a lot of people say, why don't you set up a Discord group? And part of it is like because it's something my kids have been into. Like I think subconsciously I'm thinking, I'm too old for Discord, but I do need to look into it. Now one of the things that like a couple of months ago, I went to go see Gary Vaynerchuk at in Bristol. It was this Success Resources thing, which is Mike Winnett has some really good videos on. But after that, because he keeps talking about TikTok, you need to get on TikTok. So I set up a TikTok account, and I was on it for like a day, and I thought, what the hell is this? Like, if there's anywhere I'm going to draw the line at what I'm going to do, it would be TikTok. So there's certain things that I just think I'm too old for, and one of them is subreddit. But I could be wrong. Maybe it's just one of those. Everything is like foreign to you until you get into it. Michael Clark says, has the latest IR35 changes affected you at all? No, I'm not. Everything I do is client-based work, so I don't have any. I don't work on any sites. I don't work on. I'm using all my own equipment, so I don't even know what the changes are because, I mean, like if this could be if what I'm doing could be fall within IR35, then that's crazy because I work completely on my own site. I'm in control of my own schedule. I use my own equipment. Everything that would get me into IR35 in the past it hasn't. So it hasn't really affected me at all. Now, if I take on a contract, it's probably something I have to look into. But again, I'm trying not to take on a contract if I don't have to. Janky Doodle, I like it. Says how many times do you think to switch to another business? I guess it's super hard to earn big numbers having a small team doing client work, even in IT. Yeah, this is Janky Doodle. I think it's doing client work it's not scalable, and this is one of the things where one of the reasons I'm getting more dependent on client work because EarSpy was removed back in August, and I'm really starting to feel the hit of it now, where there's more money going out than coming in, and which is tough. So you have a client. So client project means it's not just the client project, which is fine. You've got all the scope creep. You've got everything to manage. You've got the fact that the developers have finished their bit, but we're waiting for the client to come back with some data, or we're waiting for the client to finish testing, or the client will come back with something else. And you've got these two different parties that you're trying to keep herd through, which can be very difficult. It's difficult then if you're just gonna code it yourself. If you code it yourself, then you just you have difficult clients, but you need to get that payment coming through. So if and that's the tough part. If you have a client that pays 2 months late, or they're saying, oh, I'm not going to pay for it until you fix this one little thing. It's like, well, that's out of scope. That was never agreed to. Then you have that kind of conflict that happens, and that's tough. My whole thing with doing client work was, eventually getting to the point where it should be able to work without me, where everybody's doing what they need to do. In reality, I'm finding that harder and harder to do. So I'm starting to think I need to get some more apps out there. I need to get off my butt and actually start creating something. Strangely enough, I was watching the Hollywood Reporter does all these things with these round tables where they have directors get together or comedians or actors and discuss things. I was watching one today with it was about creativity, and it was with Donald Glover and Damien Chazelle and all these people talking about creativity, and they were all talking about you always, like in Hollywood, you have this big product coming up. They want you to be in this movie with your hero, but at the same time you have to decide whether or not you want to do that or sit down and work on your piece of work, the thing that you want to put out into the world. And it's the same with, I think, doing software. You have to think, we all have our app ideas. We all have the things do I need to turn down that client work so I could work on that thing that I need to work on. So I could make sure that, because it's been in my head for so long, I need to get it out there. And it's been, the times when I moved ahead were the times where I actually did that. But it's a risk. It's a risk, and that's the thing. It's the fear of doing that. So, but yeah. So that's why it is super hard to earn big numbers having a small team doing client work, because there's only so much you can do. There's only so much you can do in a day, and then it's almost like being an employee, because you're trading your time for money. Unless you get the systems running properly, and you get the systems running properly, and you get new people in, and they just kind of subvert them. So, and that's tough. A lot of times, I'm getting more strict with that kind of stuff. An example is, we'll get a new client in, and they want to use their own NDA. And I'll say no, or I'll charge them for it, because part of my process is we use my NDA, because I don't want to have to read NDAs all day, right? Or they'll say they want to go around the processes that I've set up, and it's almost like there's other developers. If you want a developer you could just be completely freestyling with, then you need to go with them, because we have a certain way that we work. We have to go this to somebody else, and it's like, it's not easy. Like, you have to, okay, come into my office in 5 minutes. No please, no nothing. It's like, it's like, dude, you just, I've had jobs where I felt like a slave, and I've had contract work or client work where I felt like, they're just, hang on a second, I don't like the way this is going. Like, it just, their expectations of me are just a little bit too high. If I don't email them back in 3 hours and they get upset about it, then their expectations need a little bit of tweaking. And that's something you have to kind of set those expectations early on. I know I'm just rambling on about that stuff, but it's really difficult to describe. It's difficult to describe and not have anybody watch and think, is he talking about me? Because I'm not. Well, probably, unless you're, well. Bojan says, what do you think about that for e-commerce? I think we just answered that one. Charuna Rashmad says, I'm from Indonesia. How to make a million app user? How to freelance Android native? That's two different questions. Both of them are kind of thing we talk about a lot. So Charuna, how to make a million app users? If I knew the answer, I would do it on every single app. But you just have to build up that user base and try to get. The more you get people to share your app within the application, the better. How to freelance Android native? if you just want to do freelance, you could go on Upwork or freelancer.com or whatever. If you want to be highly paid, then you start building up your portfolio. And I find one of the reasons why we put some, I think we did set up an account on Upwork, and it was like everything was low value there. I mean, it was like, you don't want to go on this marketplace where everything is low value. If you can make such a splash, Taruna, that people are out there looking for you, they're looking for specifically for you, then because your portfolio, then you're golden. They're not looking for the lowest price resource. They're looking for you specifically. Sessin says, do you think Overpass has a scalable business? Not for client work, it doesn't. I mean, that's always been the goal, but it looks like another form of being freelancer. What do you think? Would you rather like to have a product investing more in your apps? Definitely. I think of the videos about this in the future, and I remember the first time somebody talked to me about it, a business owner. He said they had a service-based business and they wanted to have a product-based business, and that should be the way that you want to go. Now the thing about having a product-based business is you have to turn down the service work so you can invest in the products. Now I have had products. I do have products. I have my apps, but I need more of them, or I need because releasing lots of apps has become frowned upon on both app stores. It would be whether or not I could do something that's better and then maybe remove one of those other ones. Malik says, this is Malik from Keith says, this is Malik from Tunisia. Hey, how's it going? Do you believe an advertiser wants to put money on YouTube more than than mobile apps? I think the advertisers want to put money where they think that most people will see it. I think that's imagine if you're an advertiser imagine you're selling a product, right? Does it matter to you where the ad is, or do you want the most eyeballs to hit it and the most click-throughs? So whatever works best, that's what they want to do it. So if you have an ad before, like let's say you have a pre-roll ad on YouTube videos and people watch it and they click off and then they leave that video. You would have to test it in both places. Patrick H says, hey, someone illegally redistributes my software via a website. He is breaking the law, copyright. What is the best way to get rid of him? Should I contact a lawyer or report him by a domain provider? Patrick, I wish I knew the answer to that. I don't know, like legally, I don't know what would be the best thing to do. But what I would start doing was talk about how safe your application is distributed through the way that it is, and start to cast doubt on the fact that if somebody's getting it off of the App Store or off of your website or however you're distributing it, then you cannot guarantee the safety of that, right? I mean, you don't know. Because you can't. You don't know. There could be viruses in it. You don't know what's in that other application. Yeah, sure, they're stealing from you, but who knows what's going on? What is their motive? And I would definitely start doing that. Start putting social media out there, almost like trying to say why it's important to get it right from you, and release lots of versions. Like release some new versions so that they're always in doubt about that. And if you have something where you have an API, if you can change the API and force everybody to upgrade, then that would be something too. Tommy Howard says, I've watched so many of your videos. First time I'm seeing you. This is amazing. Such a big fan. You are so inspiring. I've got a few ideas. Ideas for mine for apps. Thanks, Tommy. I really appreciate that. Oh, that's really nice. Yeah, no, I think we reached over 1,000 videos in the last month, which is kind of cool. It's kind of this weird thing, right? Like, in terms of subscribers, we don't have that many subscribers. Just over 28,000, which I guess is a lot. I can't believe it's 28,000, but I see other people just rocket forward. I think I need to do some Minecraft gameplay or something. I don't know what to do, but I really appreciate that, Tommy. Thanks. Luffy says, Tommy Howard, try making them yourself, those apps. Everyone has ideas, and you don't have the knowledge yet. Learn it along the way. Yeah, it's difficult. One of the things is, I was going to do a video about why I don't particularly want to hear people's app ideas. It's not because I don't want to hear them. I love hearing app ideas because it's when it's followed with the suspicion. Like, I can remember working someplace and somebody said, I've got this app idea, but I'm not going to tell it to you because you might steal it. And I'm like, you know what? I'm fine if you don't tell me. It's like, the thing is, my whole thing with app ideas is like, if you don't act on it, somebody else will, right? It's like, you only hold on to that app idea for so long before somebody else has the same idea. Now, I've had clients who said, like, they'll say they've got this app idea, like, dude, nobody's doing it, right? And then I'll do a Google Play search and find it within seconds, like, just, using the right keywords, like, what would somebody search for that, right? And they're like, oh. And I remember having a client in my office saying, I've told a couple people about this. I wonder if it was so-and-so, right? And they're actually, he's getting accusing about other people he thinks may have passed on their idea, despite the fact that the app was released years earlier in another country. But he's still like, it may have been so-and-so. Like, it was like, somebody's going to take that idea and run away with it, or they're going to leak it. And it's like, it's not uncommon for people to have the same idea. The same way you have comedians who have the same joke, like, or it's not necessarily that they're stealing it from each other, but they may have the same idea, like the same thought patterns lead to the same thing. Vishal Singh says, hello, sir, I watch your ASO videos and my app ranks 6th position for the keyword and also app name BK Mural today. Fantastic. Thank you so much, sir. That's good. You see, everybody, it works. That was really nice of you to say, Vishal. Vishal, I'm glad to hear that. That's really great. Tommy Howard says, I'm inspired to develop my apps a lot more than I have been, is all. Yeah, that's good. I mean, you should read that App Annie report, because it's definitely possible. And by the way, if you learn how to code the apps yourself, and for whatever reason, let's say apps disappear. Let's say Apple decides they're not going to have the App Store anymore, which I couldn't imagine happening because they're like really big on apps, as are Android. That's what makes the phone so special, right? But let's say they went away. Getting the knowledge to code those things yourself, it's a small jump from knowing no code. Like I can remember not knowing how to code anything and be just completely lost to going to I know how to do this. Like or going from nothing to Visual Basic for applications (VBA) was like a big jump. But going from VBA to VB, going from VB to C Sharp, going from C Sharp to JavaScript, it was doable, mainly because I had confidence in myself. But so I think it's definitely something worth doing. NA says, I kind of rushed the screenshots, but I'll improve them. And yes, I agree, the app icon. We'll experiment with them in a few designs. Yeah, I think so, because you think about what somebody's looking for flashlights, what would they be looking for? It looks like your keywords are doing really well, NA. Fist 007 said, for client work to be scalable, you'll need to have 10 plus in-house developers working on some medium, big size project. Yes, and they have to make decisions for themselves from time to time. Not to mention you'll need to be getting contracts constantly, which is always a way. An hour there, and I'll just try to like, don't think about anything, don't think about work, and then I got these Skype questions, and my phone buzzes, and I know I should turn off Skype, but I'm like, you've ever tried to type code into Skype? Like on a soft keyboard on a phone, it's not easy, and I'll get stuff like, it's not working, and that's it. So, what's not working? The login. That's it. That's all. Like, are you getting an error? Yes. Nothing else. What's the error? This is such an inefficient mode of conversation. First of all, I want one message that you tell me what the situation is, and I should like pulling teeth. Like, again, my pet peeve I talked about, was it this week? I said about people who just say hello, Eric, and that's it, and they're waiting for me to like continue the conversation. Like, I ain't biting. I ain't answering this time. Let's see. Are we still online? I hope we're still online. Dwight Shrew said, debugging my code makes me frustrated. Tell me about it. How do you deal with stress when stuff doesn't work the way you want to? And my thing's spinning around. I'm assuming that you guys can still hear me. Yeah, if you've ever had a really, really good bug like that, it lasts for days, where like you're first you're like, okay, oh, that's weird. Oh, that's cool. Oh, let's see. Well, that's really weird. Let me just change this. And then you just start going through, like, you just start stripping things out. You're doing all this stuff, right? You're was it, I think Popeye or Donald Duck? I think it was the same kind of thing where there's a fly and they're chasing the fly around, and eventually they just throw them so crazy they get the shotgun. And that's what you do when you have a really tough bug, you can't find it. You just start stripping stuff out. You start changing like huge bits of code, right? And then you get to the point where you start to doubt yourself as a developer. You start like on the verge of tears. You're like, it's been 6 hours. It's been 2 days. What the hell is wrong with this thing? And then you start blaming the technology. I hate PHP. I hate ASP. I hate C Sharp. Yeah, you know what? This SharePoint for me was a thing. I hate SharePoint. SharePoint is the devil created SharePoint. Right? It's tough. It's tough debugging. Sometimes it is. But when you find it, what's tough is when you go through it and you rewrite whole bits of things. You have a theory. You think, you know what? I think the way I did that probably wasn't the most efficient. Let me rewrite this let me rewrite that bit. And then you finally get it all working, and it's still not working. And and then you find out you have like a stray semicolon, or if you're in JavaScript, which is not compiled, then you have a variable that is misnamed, and it still runs properly. That's when it really gets you. But that's not like my kids. My kids are building their own computers. So they're building their gaming PC. So they get a new video card, but then they get a new video card, and then the power supply breaks, or but the computer just shuts down, or a blue screen or whatever. So that gets expensive when you're dealing with hardware, because they buy a new part, and then they'll restart it, they'll change something, they'll restart it, blue screen again, and that's why you just freak out. It's almost not the same way with code, especially if it's difficult to reproduce. Like you have to go through if you have that long feedback loop. Let's see. Kashit Singh says, how do you find clients for your business? I really find it hard to get clients. It is sometimes. So you can either you have outbound or inbound. I hope you guys can still hear me, right? You have outbound or inbound. If you were a real man, unlike this guy right here, you probably get on the phone and start calling around, right? For me, I prefer just to I do it very passively, so I'll create lots of content and hopefully people find me. The good thing about that is if they come to me, they've already made a decision that they want to work with me, probably me or whatever. I already know they need an app. If I go out cold calling businesses or do like a mail shop, which we do sometimes, then I don't know if they're looking for an app, right? My whole thing is I don't want to convince somebody they need an app. I want to talk to somebody who's already convinced they need an app, which is like a smaller audience, obviously. So there's different ways of doing that, and there's whole books about prospecting out there. I know because I've read a lot of them. You could also, what's a really good book on prospecting is, which I've read several times. Where is it? Here it is. Fanatical Prospecting by Jed Blount. I've gone through and highlighted several of this. The first time I listened to it was on audiobook, on Audible. I have an Audible affiliate link, which I need to do something with. But it's a really good book on prospecting. Let's see. But anyway, so it's everywhere. And I know people who are able to find clients standing in line at the bank. Well, when people used to go to the bank, or they'll go anywhere and they'll just be like, "Hey, you know what? You ever thought about getting an app?" And I just can't do it. I wish I could do that. Let's see. Where was I? Glenn Ferris says, "Say Ferris." I love it. That's in your name because it's in your name. I was thinking Ferris Bueller, but yeah. Hey Ferris. Save Glenn Ferris. That's what I should have said. Ariel says, "Paying for stuff, Mr. Rulli. That's so boomer. My favorite apps as a young, handsome millennial for desktop, Qubit Torrent browser extension, uBlock, Origin, and Android Blockada. Good evening, sir." Boomer. You got me. Yeah, I know. Well, at some point, it's weird, the whole thing with. There's so many free. I mean, even if you weren't pirating things, there's so many free tools out there that you could use. And I think one of the reasons why I like to pay for stuff is because I hope people will pay for my stuff, and then I'll know more about how all that stuff works. But yeah, let's see. Cycling Report says, "Mr. Eric, greetings, Cycling Report." NA says, "Give me your app ideas, please." Yeah. If you want to tell me your app ideas, NA wants to know. Let's see. Janky Doodle says, "Thanks so much for a thorough answer to my question. Corporate cringe exists everywhere. Also, I believe you have the personality and an increasing audience to start doing some video courses." I would like to do some video courses. Last year that's what I was gonna do, and I was looking at Teachable and stuff like that. I've even done videos talking about how I'm never gonna do courses, but if I did one, I would do something like Udemy or something. I want it to be affordable. I mean, make some revenue from it, but I wouldn't want it to be one of these, lifestyle. I think it's when you look at all the ones that were like get rich with apps, that kind of stuff. I cringe with that kind of stuff. But like it was something that was genuine. Like let's go through the things to check, all that kind of stuff. That would be kind of fun. Fist 007 says, "The app idea stealing thing. Even if you..." Am I still here? You guys? Oh, I'm running late. You're right. I am running late. I'm going to answer all these questions really, really fast. So after Fist 007 says you're running late, that's the last thing I'm going to answer. Oh my God, I am running late. I'm not going to have time to get a milky, frothy, latte, coffee, mocha thing. Where was I? Fistopa says, "The app idea is stealing things. Even if you build it and you don't follow up with the marketing and communication work, someone will copy your idea after you built it and do the exposure work. So the idea alone is not good enough." Totally 100% agree. John Mollahan. Hey, John, how's it going? "Hey, Eric, as you know, I've been using Facebook ads along with AdMob mediation. I'm only setting it up correctly now. I'll try to get some proper stats over in the coming weeks here to share here." That'd be really good. My AdMob was down 6% last month. But I mean, after the Christmas rush. Patrick H says my app now requires internet connection because of the scammer. I already got some users reporting. They bought it from the scammer, and when I updated it, they first contacted him. But I really hate that he's making money from my app. I totally agree. I totally agree. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing that gets you. The copycats for me, it was. I mean, if somebody takes one of my apps and they're pirating it, that's one thing because at least it's untouched. It was the people who are using the same name, the same. The idea, the idea was a thing, but using the same name, same branding, same icon, same description, that was too much. Splinktigger Werden says, thank you for the €2. Says, what apps do you recommend for market analysis? For market analysis, it depends on what it is. If you're looking for something that does well in the App Store, I would look at the top apps and have a look at those. And if you have because for me, well, everybody says you should look at the top apps and then go that way. However, everybody's doing that. So if you have an idea, I would have a look at what exists out there and what kind of downloads are they getting, and look at the reviews and see what people are complaining about it, right? And that's something if it's more niche, so that you know what it is you're going for. You could also use App Annie just to see how many keywords are there, what kind of keywords you could use, and stuff. And but most of the time, I don't do that much market analysis. I'll do. Eventually there's only so much you could be sure of in the beginning anyway. Let's see. Matthew Creek says, can you check out audio headlines? Is that an app? How are you going? Audio headlines. Oh, Potionware. That is you. All right, let's have a look. So, audio headlines, Potionware. What is audio? Audio headlines. Are you okay? So, go to article. Is this it? Am I looking at the right one? I think. Matthew, I think you could try with some annotated screenshots. If I'm looking at the right one, I hope I'm looking at the right one. Annotated screenshots, but I think I did. The fact that I put audio headlines in there, yours, your icon doesn't stand out as much as the others, and you don't have any reviews there. Why don't you have any reviews? You do have reviews, don't you? You have one. Which is, yeah, there you go. I know it's you now. We don't need to, the names looks familiar. Works well, lots to choose from, ability like. So, alright, so let's have a look at this in terms of. Let's have a look at it on App Annie. Because I'm trying to think, what would people be searching for? Audio headlines, Potionware. So again, what I'm going for, United States. So headline app, you're 121, headlines 135, headline not alphabetical. So audio headlines. I think it's the keywords we need to look at first, like what audio headlines is. So you could have a subtitle on there. I think the icon could be improved, but again, it's the ABCs. First, keywords are the most important, and like, are you showing up in search at all? And if you're not showing up in search, then it doesn't matter what your icon looks like. But if you are showing up in the search results, then the icon needs to look good compared to the other ones there. And then you look at the next section, which is coming to this page, when they look at the screenshots. Like, it's almost like how do you put these in doctored screenshots to make it look like a bit more like it stands out a bit more. Like, because I can't. So looking at the screenshots without reading the description, I can't tell what it does. Your first line is welcome to audio headlines, which is reusing some of the keywords you're already using, which is some prime real estate. So are you looking for some awesome app that will read the top 10 articles in your favorite category? Sorry, I think I'll get the cold. Excuse me. So I would remove this part here, move that up, but then also try to put a bit more of the keywords in your first paragraph there. But what do the rest of you guys think? Let's see. Leonel said great advice on finding the bug. Vishal Singh says, "Sir, you are great. I salute you." Salute you back, Vishal. Actually, I know how to do a proper salute because I had to do it for 4 years in the army. Oh wait, let's go back to the third. I have been professionally trained to salute, and I've been professionally trained to salute, and then I did this thing here, which was insulting to servicemen everywhere, or U.S. servicemen. See, you are great. I salute you. I irritated 2 years how I could rank applications, but I don't know ASO. Sir, your YouTube suggested your video go on my homepage. I watch and change my life. And change my life. You are a god, sir. Wow, thanks, Vishal. I see your video first time in just 5 days. My app is ranked, so I can't believe you are great, sir. Love you. Wow, thank you very much. I'm glad it helped, because when I see the comments on the videos, a lot of times is, dude, I watched this thing for 4.5 minutes and all you do is blather on, or you talk too much and all that stuff. So anyway, so after Fist07 says running late. So yeah, so I'm going to get going. Sachin Travelli says Flutter, React Native, Flutter. I'm a web developer starting to learn mobile framework. Which one would I choose? So if you're a web developer, maybe React Native because it's JavaScript, but Flutter, I think, you shouldn't have any trouble going for JavaScript to Flutter. And even then, as a web developer, if you're not a big JavaScript developer, you're going to have to learn that part anyway. GML Geek says, how do I get my app on the feature list on the App Store? Thanks, Eric. GML Geek, I'm not really sure. That's Steve P. Young on the App Store. So I don't think I've ever been featured on the App Store. I wish I could say I did. Steve P. Young, I think he has some videos on that of App Masters. Steve P. Young at App Masters. But I think that's something that he's done quite a few times. But it's something that I'm definitely not an expert on. Well, I mean, I've never done it. So I'm not an expert. I'm not even a novice at it. But I wish I could say I did. So Matthew Creek said, yes, sir, please check BK Murray today, pub, blah, 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 dev, console. Okay, this is the last thing I'm going to check, Vishal. See, Session will be starting Flutter next week. Good luck, Session. I think it's the time that you put into it. So after that, I'm just going to have a look at this last one here. BK Murley today. Pub Maha Bratham Dev. Well, okay, here we go. So there's a lot that I think a lot of competition for the keywords. But I like your screenshots. And I don't know what the rest of you guys think. I'm gonna have to get going because I'm already half an hour late, and it won't be pizza tonight. Fist 007. It's gonna be probably Taco Bell again. You know what? I missed Taco Bell so much for 20 years, and now that I've been going to Taco Bell every week, I remember how much I didn't really care much for Taco Bell. But anyway, probably have that at one time anyway. Everybody, thanks so much for watching the video. Sorry about the internet problems we've had. I hope you guys have a fantastic weekend. Thanks for joining the live stream. I'll do the Overpass Insights on Monday, I promise. And that's it for have a great weekend. Talk to you guys next week. Maybe. We might do a live stream next week. We might not. Bye.